Hi, in this demo we will see how to configure Nexla for reading big data file formats like AVRO and Parquet. Now, if you're not familiar with these file formats, head over to the link in the description to read our white paper on an introduction to these formats. Alright, so for this demo, I'm going to read some AVRO files that are in my S3. I'll start by creating a new source. I can enter credentials or use an existing one. I get a live preview of my S3 so I can find out exactly where my files are located without leaving the Nexla UI. I can view a JSON representation of the file content. While AVRO is not JSON, this preview helps me get a quick idea of what this file might contain. In this case, I have my AVRO files cataloged in subfolders by date. Quite a common scenario where an automated job is writing data here every day. I can select the parent of these subfolders as my source folder. This way, when new files are written to my S3, Nexla will automatically read these files without requiring any action on my part. Now, in the advanced settings, I leave the override file format detection to auto-detect, so Nexla can read these as AVRO files. I do the same for Parquet files. I can also configure how frequently this location should be scanned for new data. I have even more controls to read only some of these files, but let's leave them as default for now. Once I have made my selections, I just click on Create and Nexla will go about trying to read this location at every regular frequency cycle for new data. Just like the other sources, I get full ingestion history of my S3 source. I can see which files were read and which failed, how many records were read, and what were the datasets found. I can view all error records for this source, and I can re-ingest a file if I wish to. I can also view all notifications for this source and set alerts to notify me of significant changes in data volume. I can pause and edit this source, and so to keep tabs on knowing exactly what configuration of a resource was changed, when, and by whom, there is full audit log. Now that's all I need to do to configure Nexla for reading big data files. From this point on, I can modify and write the ingested data anywhere: APIs, databases, file storage. But for this demo, let's quickly write out all the records as JSON data to my Dropbox. Check out the video in the link at the end of this demo to see all the advanced features for mappings and destinations. I can click on Dataset to view the detected schema and some samples. I can annotate this schema or create mappings and move to a destination. I'll select all input records and push them to the output. Then I'll select my Dropbox account for this destination. I get a live preview of my account. I can create subfolders that don't exist in my account, all without leaving the Nexla UI. And I can use these system macros for cataloging by date or attribute values. Once I have configured where to write the data, I'll configure the file format. Here, I'll leave it as JSON. I can see a sample JSON record that will be written to the file. Once I set my mappings and destinations, I'll activate this data flow. And I'm done. Nextcloud will now write data to my Dropbox anytime there is new data for this dataset. So that was an overview of using Nexla to read big data files. Check out the video in the link to see all other Nexla features for everything beyond reading AVRO files. And if you haven't tried out Nexla yet, I hope you will. Sign up by going to www.nexla.com.